Here's your rewritten and enhanced version of the text with elevated synonyms, sharper phrasing, and a more powerful tone for maximum impact. Are you a diehard Browns loyalist who lives for the X's and O's? Then hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a blitz, a breakdown, or a big-time Browns moment. Let's not sugarcoat it. Cleveland's 2024 preseason was a disaster, a season fans would prefer erased from memory. The Browns finished dead last in points per game, averaging a dismal 15.2. Offensively, it was a complete collapse. With 4 different starting quarterbacks and a staggering 66 sacks allowed, the unit never found its rhythm. Drives fizzled, turnovers mounted. Week after week, the Browns looked like a team stuck in quicksand, sabotaging themselves before the ball even got rolling. And while the offense rightfully caught most of the heat, the defense, though occasionally brilliant, was drained beyond measure, consistently placed in poor field position and forced to defend short fields far too often. But out of that rubble, one voice has emerged with a tone fans have been starving to hear. Defensive end Alex Wright, sidelined most of the year with a torn triceps, finally spoke up, and he didn't mince words. If you don't come in and handle your business, it won't be you. You either accept the challenge or you run from it. And I'm not running from anything. That's the fire Browns fans have been begging for, bold, hungry, and unapologetically locked in. Wright isn't just aiming for a comeback, he's targeting a takeover. The starting job, the respect, and the opportunity to stand beside one of the most feared defenders in the NFL, Myles Garrett. For too long, the Browns have searched for that reliable bookend to Garrett. Zadarius Smith flashed with 5 sacks before being dealt at the deadline. After him, crickets. No other defender cracked 3 sacks all year. That's not just alarming, it's a strategic liability. When all the pressure comes from one side, offenses simply game plan around it, neutralizing Garrett and collapsing the entire pass rush. But if Wright steps into that void, the entire defensive identity shifts from dangerous to downright lethal. Before his injury, Wright was ascending fast. In 2023, he quietly racked up 5 sacks and was carving out a role as a disruptive force. He wasn't cleaning up busted plays, he was beating offensive tackles, collapsing pockets, and making quarterbacks sweat. That development didn't happen by accident, it was earned through reps, preparation, and raw hunger. That's why his injury hurt so badly. A torn triceps limited him to just 4 games and 1 sack, a breakout campaign derailed before liftoff. But now, he's back, and his mission isn't just recovery, it's redemption. What makes Wright's statement so compelling isn't just the swagger, it's the accountability. He gets it. This isn't just about filling a spot, it's about transforming the defense. The Browns don't just need players, they need warriors. Guys who refuse to fold when double-teamed, who don't vanish after a mistake, who rise when the lights are the brightest. Playing beside Myles Garrett is more than a role. It's a rare opportunity to feed off elite greatness and elevate the entire unit. And Wright isn't shrinking from that spotlight, he's charging into it. Cleveland tried to fortify the trenches by selecting Mason Graham with the Note 5 overall pick, a powerful presence on the interior. But even the best defensive tackles can't do it alone. Edge rushers are the ones who force the quarterback off his spot, disrupt timing, and create turnover. Garrett can't do it all, and without a threat on the opposite edge, the defense becomes predictable. That's why Wright's return could be a franchise-shifting moment. If he picks up where he left off, or better, this defense becomes a nightmare. Teams won't be able to slide protection. Quarterbacks won't have an easy escape route. Every snap becomes a high-risk chess match. And it's not just the trenches that benefit. More pressure means more rushed throws, more picks, and a lot less stress on the secondary. But this isn't just about physical tools. It's about mentality. Wright isn't just playing for a comeback, he's playing like someone who's ready to claim what's his. That's the mentality dynasties are built on. That's the mindset Garrett needs in his foxhole. I haven't shied away from a thing in my life, Wright said, and with that, he's lit a match under the entire locker room. As training camp looms, all eyes will be on Wright, his health, his motor, and his ability to perform when the pads start cracking. The edge depth is razor thin and the margin for error even slimmer. Cleveland's 2025 season can't afford another defensive drop-off. The offense still has its share of questions, but if the defense reclaims its bite, this team can absolutely stay in the hunt. And right may be the difference maker that holds the key. When a coach like Kevin Stefanski speaks, especially amid swirling quarterback speculation, people don't just listen, they analyze every syllable. And right now it feels like we're witnessing the ignition of a major NFL storyline that could reshape the AFC landscape. Could Shedeur Sanders be suiting up in black and gold this fall? The clues are stacking up, and they're getting harder to ignore. Let's break this down. Stefanski isn't the type to throw words around recklessly. He's strategic, deliberate, and fully aware that a single sentence can set off a media firestorm. So when he reportedly told Shedeur, "Good luck in Pittsburgh," it wasn't just casual chatter. This wasn't idle small talk. This was a loaded statement about a player with one of the most electrifying profiles in college football. Shedeur Sanders isn't just Deion's son. He's a legitimate NFL-caliber quarterback. Arm talent, pocket poise, command, leadership. It's all there. And now with whispers growing louder and scouts being spotted quietly at Colorado games, the dots are starting to connect. Pittsburgh hasn't outright confirmed anything, but let's be honest. They don't have to. Their scouting presence around Shedeur has been calculated, strategic visits, silent evaluations, a handful of top-level scouts attending Buffs games last fall. There's smoke, maybe even fire, and it makes sense. The Steelers are in desperate need of a long-term answer at QB. Kenny Pickett's exit left a crater. Russell Wilson, sure, he's there, but let's be real. He's a stopgap, not the future. Stefanski's farewell might not have been about Cleveland's plans. It might have been a wink at Pittsburgh's, a subtle nod of, "He's yours now." And it gets deeper. While Stefanski and Shedeur haven't officially worked together, they've crossed paths often, quarterback summits, elite player camps, league events. Insiders claim Stefanski has long admired Shedeur's ability to lead a locker room and elevate a team, even at such a young age. That makes his words, "Good luck in Pittsburgh," feel less like a send-off and more like a benediction. One coach quietly endorsing a rising star to another. Timing matters in the NFL. Nothing leaks by accident. And now we're in the sweet spot of the offseason, when small comments ripple into massive speculation, when even the briefest goodbye can set off a storyline that leads all the way to draft day. Why? Because the Browns broke the unspoken rule, and the NFL made sure no one followed their lead. So yeah, this goes way deeper than just one player. This is about power, control, and whether one team's bold move triggered a league-wide clampdown. Let me know what you think in the comments, because this story is far from over. Let's get straight to it. Fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL? You don't find it the least bit suspicious? See, I'm not one to dive into conspiracy theories. I believe in conspiracies, and if you're unclear on the definition, look it up. A conspiracy is just a group of people coordinating behind closed doors toward a shared goal. That's it. It's not aliens. It's not some wild sci-fi tale. It's powerful business figures aligning their interests and saying, "Here's how we're going to run things." And that, my friends, is exactly what happened here. Now, circle back to Shedeur Sanders. This man drops all the way to the 5th round. Not the 2nd, not the 3rd, not even the 4th, 5th. And some people are quick to say, well, maybe it was the owner, not the GM, who made that pick. Okay, let's run with that logic. That means the owner was fully aware of the whispers surrounding Shedeur and still decided to pull the trigger. You're telling me that wasn't a setup, that wasn't a consequence? Look, I know it may sound extreme, but let's not ignore the context. It's starting to feel like a message was being sent. Almost like the NFL said, all right, Browns, we let you sneak that Watson contract through, but now you're going to feel the consequences. A silent warning to any team considering a fully guaranteed quarterback deal, don't you dare. And let's be honest, Deshaun Watson hasn't exactly looked like a $230 million zero-cents quarterback since. Injuries, setbacks, maybe it's physical, maybe it's something deeper. Either way, he hasn't lived up to the investment. And now we're watching the aftermath unfold in real time. So I have to ask you, if the NFL can quietly collude to suppress guaranteed contracts, what makes you think they wouldn't orchestrate a coordinated effort to bury Shedeur Sanders down in the 5th round? If you're still with me, I know you're listening. But he's entering his contract year, and rumors of his exit have lingered for over a season. The front office has never given a strong signal about a long-term extension. That kind of ambiguity, it festers in a locker room. Now enter Braxton Jones. Young, durable, proven. He hasn't missed a single snap in 3 seasons and just posted an 80.8 pass-looking grade per PFF. He's a rising force. Plug him into Cleveland's O-line and you've got instant stability at left tackle. Slide him over long-term when Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller eventually move on, and suddenly the future up front doesn't look so fragile. The bigger picture. Cleveland's secondary is crowded. Ward, Emerson, Thornhill. Meanwhile, the O-line is developing cracks, and in a division stacked with guys like TJ Watt and Trey Hendrickson, protecting your QB is survival, not luxury. And Captain Jessup ripped. Sure, the trade is bold, risky, but it also clears cap space, solidifies the trenches, and avoids losing Newsome for nothing next spring. Even more importantly, it signals the Browns aren't waiting around while the Watson saga drags them down. It's still just a rumor, but the fact it's catching fire tells you one thing. Discussions are already happening. And when smoke rises in the NFL, someone's already moved a chess piece. Every decision is a gamble. On one hand, Deshaun Watson's situation is a legal and financial labyrinth. On the other, a daring trade that could upgrade the roster now and shift momentum league-wide. These aren't just off-season tweaks. They're strategic chess moves, the kind that shape not just a season, but a decade. So let's hear it, Dog Pound. Do you trust the front office to pull the trigger at the right moment? Or are we on the verge of repeating history? Drop your take in the comments, smash that like button, share this with the squad, and if you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Cleveland rises together. Let's flip the script. Let's rewrite history. Let's unpack this. Because beneath the surface, this move is about more than just a roster cut. It's about philosophy, direction, and identity. Okoronkwo wasn't a throwaway signing. He was a notable free agent pickup on a 3-year, $19 million, 0-cents contract. The front office, driven by analytics and potential, saw serious value in his pressure rate efficiency from Houston. On paper, Obo looked like he could be a formidable force opposite Myles Garrett. But let's be real, how often does potential translate into production? In this case, it didn't. Not even close. Obo concluded the 2023 campaign with just 3 sacks in 16 appearances. Injuries, especially a nagging shoulder issue, derailed his momentum. Even with a valiant effort to return in time for the playoffs, he didn't move the needle. This from a player who boldly declared he'd notch double-digit sacks. The result? More bark than bite. And when Zadarius Smith was traded and Alex Wright went down early, the stage was set for Obo to rise. But he didn't seize it. Worse yet, the tone around his future shifted noticeably in the offseason. His name began to surface in cut candidate chatter. Free agency came and went. The NFL draft passed. Reports hinted Obo and CB Greg Newsome were floated as trade assets. But no bites, no deals, no traction. Now, the Browns simply cut ties. No compensation, no trade, just gone. Why? 2 words. Youth and upside. The Browns are clearly doubling down on promising talent like Isaiah McGuire, the former Missouri standout who flashed late-season brilliance when injuries decimated the defensive front. Breaking news out of Berea, the Cleveland Browns have just made a bold roster shakeup that's sending shockwaves through the dog pound. Defensive end Ogbonnia Oban Okoronkwo has officially been released. Yes, you read that right. The same Obo who arrived in Cleveland as a highly touted free agent signing just 2 years ago is now off the roster as the Browns clear space to bring in kicker Andre Schmidt. Now, on the surface, this may seem like just another routine off-season move, but dig a little deeper and you'll see this decision reveals a whole lot more about the direction of the Browns' defense, their confidence in emerging talent, and how this front office is actively reshaping the future of the franchise in real time. Stick with me, because this isn't just a release. This could be a defining turning point. And before we get into the details, smash that like button if you've been repping the Browns for 20+ years. We've got fans here who were at the very first game. Drop a comment like, "Go Browns, let's go to the Super Bowl." Let's rewind. When Okoronkwo signed that 3-year, $19 million 0-cents contract, expectations were rightfully high. He was coming off a solid campaign with the Houston Texans, 5 sacks in just 8 starts, and advanced analytics loved him. Pressures per snap, Pass rush win rate. Obo graded out as an efficient and disruptive edge presence. To many, he was a sleeper steal, not a household name, but a smart, under-the-radar pickup that gave Cleveland's pass rush real upside. He was also the first free agent the Browns signed that offseason, a day-one target in the NFL's legal tampering window. That alone showed how much the front office believed in his upside. But the production never quite matched the projection. Over 2 seasons in Cleveland, Obo registered just 4.5 total sacks, including only 3 in 16 games last year. A shoulder injury in 2023 sidelined him for part of the year, and while he returned for the playoffs, the breakout fans were waiting for never materialized. What stings most? The preseason declaration from Obo himself, "I'm going for 10 sacks." That quote ignited social media and sparked real hope among the fan base, but instead of hitting double digits, he never even matched his Houston output. So where does that leave us now? The release of Okonkwo isn't just about saving cap space or adding competition at kicker. It's a loud and clear message. The Browns are placing their faith in rising edge rusher Isaiah McGuire. Let's talk about this young stud. After the team dealt away Zadarius Smith and lost Alex Wright to injury, McGuire stepped in late last season and flashed serious promise. He made the most of every snap, and he's turned heads again during spring practices. Apparently, he showed enough for Andrew Berry and the front office to say, "We've seen enough. We're ready to move forward. No more fallback options. No more veteran safety nets." This regime is backing their homegrown youth. And why not? This is a Browns defense that was elite in 2023, top 5 by almost every metric, arguably the best in the league. Even with some regression in 2024, the leadership isn't panicking. They're not clinging to familiar names. They're doubling down on their young core. This is about more than one roster move. This is about identity, evolution, and belief in the next generation of Browns defenders. Make no mistake, this is a statement move. You don't cut ties with a veteran edge rusher who still flashes pass rush upside unless you're completely sold on the talent behind him. The Browns' release of Obonya Okoronkwo isn't just a roster transaction, it's a full-throttle vote of confidence in Isaiah McGuire and Alex Wright, assuming Wright returns to form post-triceps injury. It's also a quiet indictment of Obo's underwhelming tenure in Cleveland. And the Browns didn't stop there. They just acquired Joe Tryon Shoyinka, a former first-round pick from Tampa Bay. Now, Tryon Shoyinka's career thus far has been enigmatic, caught between roles, never quite unlocking his full potential in the Bucs scheme. But the raw traits are there. The Browns' defensive staff clearly sees a moldable weapon, a potential rotational disruptor ready to be unleashed. And with Myles Garrett anchoring the line, McGuire on the rise, Wright poised to rebound, and Tryon Shoyinka adding depth, this pass rush room is becoming a serious problem for opposing offenses. It may not be dripping with household names, but it's loaded with explosive upside and untapped power. The Browns already know they're not in play. They've invested heavily in Deshaun Watson. So maybe Stefanski was just being honest, acknowledging the greatness he sees in Shedeur and letting him know he's rooting for him, even if it's in enemy colors. But in this league, nothing is ever just friendly. The internet exploded. Steelers fans are creating mock-ups of Sanders in black and yellow. Browns fans are wondering whether Stefanski slipped or knew exactly what he was doing. Shedeur hasn't responded, but his cryptic social media posts have people buzzing. One read, "The real ones know where I'm headed." Was that about the Steelers, the NFL in general, or just a clever distraction? These days, every word is measured, every silence even more so. This wouldn't be the first time an NFL draft narrative was written long before the pick was called. Remember Burrow to Cincinnati, Trevor Lawrence to Jacksonville? Those rumors didn't start on draft night. They started months in advance, through hushed conversations and subtle clues. After Shedeur to the Steelers doesn't just make sense, it feels destined. He's got the swagger, the IQ, the pedigree. His game is NFL ready, yet still ripe for development. He excels under pressure, reads defenses with poise, and makes clutch throws with anticipation. Pair that with a reloading Steelers offense, a vastly improved O-line, young weapons at WR, and a defense led by TJ Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick, and you've got the perfect environment. Thank you guys. See you next video. Oh.